Christian, I guess talk about how this feels, right? I mean, a pay-per-view main card, media day on fight week so early in your career. I mean, this has got to be kind of a wild experience, right?
It feels amazing. I've been dreaming about opportunities like this since I was 15, so I'm just soaking in everything up right now.
I mean, obviously, when you started to realize, like, what it was going to be, that you were going to be on the main card, that you were going to be doing all this stuff, was it a little bit overwhelming at all, or did you just welcome it?
No, I just welcomed it. I mean, I strive for these moments. I like the pressure. I like opportunities like this just because I feel like it makes me a better fighter. I think it makes me take everything more serious, as in, like, nutrition, training, everything, So I like it.
So what were your thoughts when the matchup came together, right? Because this kid's getting all the attention in the world, all the expectations. When they call you to be the opponent, what's your initial thought?
I like the matchup. I don't think the UFC does any favors. I don't think the UFC is like a kind of place that that tries to build people up. I think what the UFC does is they put two prospects who are really good, and they see whoever wants it more.
What were you doing at 18?
At 18, I was still fighting. I had my first MMA fight at 17, so I know what it feels like. I know what it feels like to be very, very young in this game, and so I had my MMA debut at 17. I was still a senior in high school.
It's crazy. So what would happen if you'd have gotten the call back then at that point? I mean, can you put yourself like in his position at all to think like where he's at in his career?
Yeah, if I put myself in that position, I don't think me personally, I'd be ready for it. Just because I think it is a big step up in competition and skill set, everything. It's so different.
Yeah. So the hype of the story, that's one thing, but at the end of the day, it's a fight, right? So his skills, like what do you see? When you watch him on tape, like, is he this amazing talent that likes we've never seen before, or what do you see in him?
I see he's very good. He's a very, very good grappler, but I feel that's all he brings to the table. But I do respect his skill set. I do respect how good his grappling is. So it's not like I'm overlooking him or anything like that. But I do respect his skill set and his team.
Last thing for me, I mean, how are you looking at this? Is this just the next fight, like the next step in your journey? Or are you looking at this as like, man, an opportunity to really steal some hype and to like make an immediate name for yourself and make people known? I mean, is this like a huge opportunity for you, or is it just another fight?
It's a little bit of both. It is another fight for me just because the way I see fights is I always see it as just another fight. I don't like kind of overwhelming myself, but I do realize it's like one of the biggest opportunities in my life. I'm on the main card with Izzy and Poatan, so it's crazy to me. I've been seeing them since I was kids, since I was his age too. So it is a big opportunity for me as well.
Christian over here. You mentioned you feel like his grappling is like the biggest thing, maybe the only thing he brings to the table. So how do you rate his striking in there overall?
I feel his striking he has good striking, but I think more of his game is striking to set up his grappling. So I do feel I'm more confident in my striking than his.
Do you think he's maybe getting ahead of himself a little bit? Because in his last media day, he was here and he was talking about how he still had to go eat lunch in high school, but then his goal is to be like a UFC champion by the time he's 20 right now. And his opponent was like, let's slow it down there. You have to get through me first. Do you think he's getting maybe ahead of himself?
No, I don't think he's getting ahead of himself just because I feel like every great fighter who wants to be great, his main goal is to be a world champion, And I feel like you have to have that in your head.
And a couple of questions unrelated to your fight. This past weekend, it was announced Endeavor bought the majority stakes of the WWE, so now kind of the UFC and the WWE under the same umbrella. I'm just curious, did you hear about that news, and what do you make of that kind of new partnership?
So I'm not sure what goes into that, but I do know when I was a kid, I was such a big WWE fan. I was like, I was always at the events in Milwaukee. CM Punk was one of my teammates for a bit, so that was like very surreal to me too, So yeah, I'm a fan.
And then can I get your thoughts on the main event? How do you think the rematch between Izzy and Alex plays out?
For the main event, I feel like Izzy pulls it off this time. I feel, Izzy was winning that fight, but I think just a couple more adjustments, little tweaks, and then he'll take the win.
Hey, C-Rod, back here. Hey, brother. How big of an impact has Anthony Pettis had on your career?
Anthony Pettis has had a huge impact on my career just because we both grew up like in a very like in the south side of Milwaukee, so it's like there's not a lot of opportunities for us over there. But one thing he did help me out a lot was, ways to, how to really get out of the south side and stuff like that, to really like pursue this full time. He's been like one of my mentors since I started. So he's been helping me out a lot. Him and Sergio Pettis as well too.
And what did you think of his performance this past weekend against Roy Jones Jr.?
I think it looked good. I mean, I think a lot of people are disregarding Roy Jones. I'm like, yeah, he's a little older, but it's still Roy Jones. He still has a dog in him.
Cool, bro. Thank you.
What do you make? One more. What do you make of Sergio's upcoming fight against Pitbull? Pitbull going down to 135.
Yeah, Pitbull's going down at 35. That's interesting. I feel Sergio takes it. I feel that weight cut might get to Pitbull just because Pitbull's a little older too. But you never know because Aldo made 35. So, yeah, you never know. But I do feel Sergio's going to take the win.
You made the John Morgan asked you earlier about the hype train behind Raul Rosas Jr. and everything. I'm curious your take. Like, do you embrace where at least perceptually wise you're going to be the underdog here?
I feel like I'll probably be the underdog in this fight. I do know he has a lot of hype, but I don't mind the hype. I think it benefits me, once I stop it.
And then I'm curious your take. Izzy versus Pereira fight in main event. I'm curious you have a take. Who you think's going to win that fight?
I think Izzy wins that fight. I think Izzy stops him this time.